at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Movement Hour with Rob Coleman, and he's got a guest, Rob Lane. Well, two Robs in the studio.
Rob Squared. We got to call it the Rob and Rob Show.
Yeah, that's going to be the name for today. So not even the Movement Hour, just the Rob and Rob Show. That has a good ring to it.
I like it.
I like it too. So before we get started, Rob Lane, if you want to kind of just introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a chiropractor at Sin Chiropractic up in the Highlands here in Lincoln. Been a strength and conditioning coach for many years as well too. Trained a lot of professional athletes, collegiate athletes, high school athletes over the years, and interested in nutrition, everything human performance as well too. So
we'll be talking mainly nutrition today, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, and you're a member of Movement Academy. So
yeah,
that's how we know.
Been a member of Movement Academy for what, 2 years now?
It's been some time.
Yeah.
I've known you for a while. You've worked on me a few times. So we have a room up there. We'll call it the chiropractor room. And so I've had some shoulder issues before that you fixed. I don't even know what it's called, but my ribs.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had that rib sprain. So
yes. Okay, a rib sprain. I don't know how that happens, and I didn't even know that was a thing, but I had one, right? And
wow.
Yeah.
I bet that would hurt. Before we get started in the show, this show is sponsored by Coleman Construction, where they build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at colemanconstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today. And also, if you want to text into the show, ask any questions, text line is open, 402-464-5685. We'll get to your comments and questions. And also you can comment on the video streams, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, almost forgot Facebook, and Allo 961 if you're wanting to watch on TV. So with that, I'll kind of let the Robs have at it.
All right. Sounds fun. Well, I mean, actually, speaking of Movement Academy, because, after this, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to head right back over there.
Yep. Going to head down to the gym. Going to get a workout in.
Get a workout in. That's our weekend plans.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll have to watch a little Arsenal soccer. Last time I talked about soccer and I had a lot of comments. They just did not like soccer. So
they like baseball way more.
I asked you if Arsenal was getting relegated this year because I know nothing about soccer.
Yeah. No, they're actually fighting for the top of the league. So there you go. So the main things I wanted to talk about today was I'll just run down a list of topics and then we'll go through them. Okay. So we were going to talk about, does sugar make you fat? Top supplements that you'd recommend, and we'll go through that as well. We're going to debunk the fear and efficacy of supplements, and then also the effects of caffeine and energy drinks. Are they dangerous? What are their effects? And we'll go from there.
Good hot topics.
Yes, definitely. But the hottest one we'll probably talk about first is definitely, does sugar make you fat? And I know that we were going to go over some diets as well. I know that you were thinking about bringing up keto potentially, but we'll just talk about all that as we get to it and whatever we have time for. Yeah, does sugar make you fat? I know there was a study that you were going to bring up with some overwhelming evidence.
If I had to answer this in a short sentence, the answer is no, it does not. So we shared some notes pre-show. So what do you think about what I sent you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at overwhelming evidence of it was 1997, the study,
Yeah, so
right?
97 study, and there was two different groups. Ones that ate quite a bit of sugar, about 110 grams worth of sugar, so about 400 calories. And then another group that ate about 40 grams of sugar, but they ate the same amount of calories, same protein, same fat, right? And both equally lost the same amount of weight in that study. So what does that say to you?
Yeah, it's probably not the sugar.
Right.
So basically
Absolutely.
the main, I suppose, criteria in terms of weight loss, calories in versus calories out. That is the diet right there. Doesn't really have a name.
100%. If you're looking purely at weight loss, and that's a big goal for a lot of people, especially in today's age. People are looking at, hey, what's the special diet I can use to lose weight?
Right.
And if I'm being honest, it comes down to calories in versus calories out.
Calories in, calories out. And obviously there are reasons to not have sugar, maybe to even have more, but like we were talking about the sugar sweetening beverages, right? Reducing cortisol.
Yeah.
So
that was another interesting study where people were accused of some acutely stressful situation, which elevates cortisol. And if you want to talk a little bit about on cortisol, go ahead and explain that.
Well,
to the listeners
cortisol,
what that is.
I mean, it's the stress hormone, right? So, and that can be a vicious cycle in terms of your weight loss journey. So, it's I don't know, Ben, you're in school right now. You talking about cortisol?
No, I got nothing. Haven't had like a health class since like probably sophomore year of high school.
Right.
You don't have to in college at all.
So cortisol is a stress hormone. It's released when people are confronted with stressful situations, and people who tend to be a little bit more overweight typically have chronically elevated cortisol. So if you have chronically elevated cortisol, it actually makes it harder to lose weight. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and one thing you never expect to read is sugar sweetened beverages reducing cortisol. So I was like, yes, let's drink some sugar sweetened.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It's like, when it comes to nutrition, you have to have nuance, right?
Yeah.
If you take a statement like that and everybody's like, oh, okay, well, I need to drink Pepsi every day because that's going to help me lose weight. That's not the point that we're getting at on this.
Right. Yes. Not recommendation.
Is this where like the hereditary part of like, some people just like hereditarily are more overweight than others? Well, obviously there's more things they can do, but like,
Absolutely. There is a genetic component to weight gain. That's 100% the truth. And that does become a difficult situation, in those circumstances when you're trying to help people lose weight. There is a genetic component, but there are also epigenetics, right? So your environmental factors influence how your genetics are expressed. So that's also very important.
And then there was one other, I get a bugaboo, I suppose, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this as well, is that they're not a huge fan of eating fruit and fruit sources because of the sugar in fruit. And my typical response is that's God's sugar. That's normal. You should be drinking that. Yeah. So so I'm not a huge worrier about the fruit, but if you want to expand on that point.
Yeah, and I think that's fruit is full of all kinds of different nutrients, so it's beneficial to eat. And one of the things that you get when you consume fruit is fiber, right? Dietary fiber, and that helps regulate blood sugar. So blood sugar is important when it comes to weight loss and weight gain, regulating that. So a lot of people are like, well, I can't eat fruit because it has sugar and sugar causes fat. Now we've already talked about that's not the case, right?
Mhm.
The sugar doesn't inherently cause fat gain beyond the amount of calories that you're consuming when you consume
Right.
sugar. So that dietary fiber is actually helping you regulate blood sugar. It could help aid in weight loss. And when people eat, the same amount of sugar that they do from fruits as they do from sugar sweetened beverages, they may actually have a little bit better health outcomes, and it's because of the dietary fiber intake.
Yeah. And then I guess the one final point to hash this out on sugar would obviously be if people struggle with insulin sensitivity issues, right,
Yes.
we should definitely
Yeah.
talk about that. So there's definitely things you can improve to help how your body utilizes glucose. But I suppose I like the wording here. Responsibly exposing yourself to sunlight is one example. And,
I think that's hugely important. I think,
Yeah.
the sun, getting sunlight's maybe been a little bit demonized, over the years with skin cancer and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate concern. But if you're responsibly, getting adequate sunlight to your body, it improves a whole host of health factors. So
I don't think I'm very responsible. I got freckles all over the place. I'm gonna have to go to
you might have to get a little sunscreen on your body.
the dermatologist might need to tell me to be more responsible. in the sun.
What do you guys have any opinions on like the tanning booths?
Wow. If we're talking controversial health topics, that's
Yeah.
one of them. Now, I've seen sort of the health influencer type folks on social media talk a little bit, and the ones that are out there, okay, take everything with a grain of salt on
Yeah.
this, actually say that you could responsibly use, especially in climates like Nebraska, you're not going to get out in the sun, for 6 months out of the year. It's unrealistic for most people. So responsibly using a tanning booth, I've seen people advocate that it can be done. I'm not going to go that far to recommend it.
I always thought
but-
that meant bring your goggles.
Well, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But yeah, so controversial topic, but
Mm.
tanning booth, I mean, yes.
What about-
So it's providing UV light, right? That's one particular source of light on the whole spectrum of light that we would get from the sun is UV light. So you've got UV light, you've got red light, you've got blue light, green light, all within the sunlight spectrum.
Mhm.
UV light does provide some benefits when it comes to insulin sensitivity, which would help with weight loss. So, could you, in theory, use that responsibly? Yes, I think that you could. So,
Yeah.
but again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm
Mhm.
not advocating for that on the show because it does have some drawbacks as well too, which I think are probably pretty obvious for most people.
Right. And then, of course, red light therapy.
Yeah, so red light therapy is super interesting. This is one that's really catching a lot of buzz in the health and fitness world. So red light's just another one of those lights that come in the light spectrum that you would get from
Yeah.
sunlight. I think sunlight's 40 to 50% red light. So when you're standing out in the
Mhm.
sun, you're getting red light therapy.
That's popping up everywhere. I keep hearing everything about red light therapy.
So red light does a ton when it comes to improving, insulin sensitivity. When it comes to weight loss, it improves the appearance and health of your skin. It improves how your cells create energy in your body. So red light is really interesting. It's something you can get from the sun, but if you don't want to stand out in the sun, there are ways to get red light therapy without doing that.
hmm Then, of course, I mean, on the topic of insulin sensitivity issues, helping yourself regulate that is resistance training, of course, and adding muscle.
Yeah.
Actually, it's hard to imagine a scenario where adding muscle and resistance training isn't beneficial for you. Obviously, we talked
Right,
about that a lot
right.
last week when we talked about personal training, and we'll of course continue to talk about that as the weeks go on. But yeah, it's just gosh, you want to reduce the risk of injury, build muscle. You want to really reduce the risk of body fat gain, build
Mhm.
muscle. I mean, if Yeah.
And even when it comes to living longer, some of the studies out there on longevity. So if people, retain muscle mass later on in their life, they have less risk of falls, and they have a lower risk of all-cause mortality, which is dying from any particular, disease
Mhm.
or accident if you have more muscle mass.
Right. So there are a few we'll call them nutrients here that we got to talk about.
Sure. Okay.
So berberine. So You want
Yeah.
to pronounce that for me real
Yeah,
quick?
so berberine.
Berberine,
You
yes.
nailed it.
Used,
Yeah.
used to break down carbohydrates and use them as energy versus storing them as fat.
Right. So we're going to talk a little bit about
Yes.
supplements later on today, and that's something that I'm interested in, and I help my clients and my patients, my athletes with supplementation.
Yep.
Supplements tend to sometimes get a bad rap, and they're not FDA regulated. We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
I'm sure we'll
but,
get a few people asking about supplements. I
You know,
imagine in the text line, if you guys have
I
questions, certainly
hope
bring that up.
people on the text line send in some questions, because there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of bad information out on the internet as
Mhm.
well too. So when it
Yes.
comes to picking supplements and using them for the right situations and for the right people,
Yes.
it's important that you're getting that information from someone who's knowledgeable about the subject.
Yeah, and when it comes to supplements as well, since before we get into specific supplements, definitely do not take them to replace food. It should be in addition to, of course. And
Yes.
the
hence the term supplement.
yeah, hence the term supplements.
Yeah.
But people tend to gloss over that. It's very, it's what we're calling them, supplements. But people tend to gloss over the word. And if you could get 100% of the nutrients you require through food, I would never suggest a supplement ever. But nobody does.
There would be no need for it.
Right. There'd be no need for it. Nobody does, though. I mean,
So what do you think some of the drawbacks are of why we can't get everything that we need from the diet? If I had to ask you that question, what would your opinion be on that?
well, I mean, as far as drawback, like, okay, I'm working on a let's call it April Shred Month. No, we're trying. We're trying to
April
build
Shred
muscle,
Month.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's going well.
yeah, so we're trying to build muscle, right? But like my normal diet, the amount of protein intake that I get,
Yeah.
definitely not enough. So I'm actually supplementing
So-
protein. I'm adding in a shake every single day.
As a personal trainer, you're guiding people on
Yes.
protein intake, nutrition to some degree,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Have to.
What do you recommend for protein intake for someone who's doing resistance training with you, let's say 3 times a
Right.
week, and they're maybe training, cardiovascular training 1 or 2 other times a day?
So
What are
it's
you
always-
recommending for protein intake?
Yeah, it's always going to depend on the goal, right? So I mean, there's the typical 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, depending on
Sure.
whether where they're trying to gain, maintain.
Mhm.
But
Per
but-
kilogram.
Yes, but I run
So
into
you
the
have to
issue.
do math.
Yeah, you have to do math.
Okay.
Yes. So per gram per yeah. So but well, that's not our system either.
No,
but
yeah, that's not my strong suit.
yeah. But the nobody likes to count,
Mhm.
right? No, I mean it is difficult. There's a tedious nature of having to keep track of supplements, of grams, of calories and all that. So the reason I offer and suggest supplements really to my clients is because I am taking them. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be doing that if it's not good for me, right? So I mean, if it's helping me, why would I want to tell them, no, you don't need to take supplements? I mean, you should be doing it. I'm doing it. I am not going to try to ask you to do something different than me. And I forget, was it 1.5 grams for weight gain? This one I'm forgetting, in terms of how much protein you should take.
Right. And I've
Yeah.
seen people recommend pretty high amounts as well too. And that's another thing that gets some kind of interesting what do I want to say? Just controversial on how much protein you should actually intake, and is it bad for you, right? People say, is it bad for your kidneys? Your body's pretty good at regulating, homeostasis, right? Keeping things in balance. So you can get up on those higher ends of protein pretty safely. But yeah, I was just curious on what your recommendations are.
Yeah, there's a number too big for everything, right? You could theoretically drink too much water.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to get to that number.
So a question I had was, so supplements is like, if you're not getting enough of something in your diet, you use supplements to add to that.
Yes.
Is that because it's almost like, I don't want to say impossible, but like really hard for just like a normal diet to get that much protein?
100%. That's a good
So
question. And one of the supplements, and probably the top one I would recommend, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, would be magnesium.
Magnesium, yes.
It's magnesium's responsible for about 300 different enzymatic reactions in the body. So it's involved in a lot. It's been shown to aid in prevention of cancer. It's good for nerve function, good for muscular function, good
Blood
for,
pressure,
good
blood
for
sugar.
blood pressure, blood sugar, metabolism. It's good for bone health. The list goes on and on with magnesium. Now, even if you're eating your green leafy vegetables, which is the primary source that's recommended, by dietitians and other healthcare professionals on how to get magnesium, due to factors like stress, how active are you? Those are things that burn through magnesium. So if you have high stress, if you're an active person, you're working out consistently, you're sweating, you're going to deplete magnesium that way as well too. And unfortunately, kind of the way our modern agriculture is trending, we are losing some of those valuable nutrients in the soil. So that's a whole nother hour radio show podcast. We could talk about that kind of stuff, but
part 2 of the Rob and Rob show.
Yeah, that'll be part 2 of the Rob and Rob show. But even if you're doing all those things correctly, you're eating a really healthy diet, like magnesium is my number one that I would recommend I recommend it to probably 90% of my, my patients, my athletes that I work with. And I should recommend it to 100, honestly. If I forget to bring it up in conversation, that's the only reason why I don't recommend magnesium is I forget to mention it to a patient.
I'll remind you every single time I see you.
important.
Every single time I see you with a clown, make sure you told them.
That's a really good question because there's just things like that even if you're doing everything correctly without supplementation, I think you're going to miss out on something that may move the needle for you quite a bit health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, awesome question.
Yeah, we like the supplement questions.
Do you want to throw it to break?
You know what? Now might be a good time. Let's do it.
All right. You're listening to the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course. They have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Coleman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Coleman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Coleman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon reminding you to vote for my friend and colleague, Carolyn Bozin. Carolyn Bozin is a strong voice for Lincoln who we need representing us in the legislature. Carolyn Bozin voted for historic funding for education to support our schools and for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Carolyn Bozin is the voice we need representing us in the legislature. This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon. Join me in supporting Carolyn Bozin for legislature on May 14th.
Paid for by Bozin for legislature.
The Double the Savings sales event is happening now through April 22nd at Bonsall Pool and Spa. During this event, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings and receive 0% APR for 60 months. Visit the Bonsall Pool and Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at bonsallpool.com to learn more about their hot tub sale. Act fast because this offer ends soon. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Load up on me and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 23rd is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, buy one, get one 50% off on Montova grilled artichokes. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Grab a free burger and beer at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game Tailgate. Meet the Elway Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day.
When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. We try to maximize things that are important to them.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
So we really try to maximize the size, because 5 years from now, you can't just make your house bigger. The one thing I can tell you is that most builders in Lincoln, we all are about the same price. The difference comes in the products that we put in and the way we put in those products.
The old saying, you get what you pay for, is pretty accurate when you're building a home. If you put nicer windows in and you put nicer cabinets, it's going to cost a little bit more. You know, if those things are important to you, then you want to do it. We can try to incorporate in your floor plan and get a house that you're going to be happy with.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. The Rob and Rob Show, as we're kind of calling it for today, because we got two Robs
just for 1 hour.
That name will never get old to me.
No, it won't.
If we do more of these, that's I like it.
Yeah.
So before we get into this segment, again, the show sponsor is Coleman Construction, where they build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at colemanconstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today. So we're going to get into this second segment now. If you have any questions, the text line is open, 402-464-5685. You can ask anything, and they'll probably answer it. So
we'll probably answer.
Ask away.
Yeah, ask away.
We'll have an answer.
Yeah, I mean, but first we have to address something. During the break, we did talk a little bit of football, and I didn't realize how many Dolphins fans there were in Lincoln, Nebraska. Because we got two more on each side of me.
Yep.
You're surrounded by Dolphins fans.
Hey, fins up.
Fins up.
Fins up.
I'm a Rams fan, so I don't know. Well, I don't think there's a lot of hate there, though. Ouch. I
feel like everyone was kind of rooting for the Rams because they're rooting for Stafford when they went on that run. Because everyone felt bad for Stafford that he got stuck in Detroit.
Right. And he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
That's the rumor. I tend to believe those rumors, though.
Right.
So yeah. So that's great. But we were talking. It was NFL versus college football. I think you're more of a college guy, though.
You know, I probably paid more attention because of the Huskers. I paid more attention to college football, but I love NFL too. I like the speed of the NFL game, you know, and it's just, especially when you get into playoff time and everybody's like, you know, they're getting hot and they're making the run. You can't beat it.
When I hear speed, I think points though, right? I feel like there's less points in the NFL game. Like I think, what was it like three teams?
I'm talking more like speed of the players.
Yeah,
like the speed of the NFL game is just outrageous.
I just think defenses in the NFL are just so much better too.
Yeah,
like they're
100%.
Like obviously the offenses are better, but like the defense, the level of talent on the defense in the NFL is crazy.
Yeah, I just love the pageantry of the college game. I got to keep it.
I've been fortunate to train some NFL athletes, you know, working in strength and conditioning in the past, and just seeing guys that can compete on that level and how fast and big and athletic they are. That's I think what makes the NFL game pretty special.
Yeah. And just kind of bring it back, because we were talking a little bit about supplements.
Yeah.
I wanted to just rehash that and make sure there was nothing else that you wanted to dig into, since we were talking about magnesium. Anything else?
I think if there was one top supplement I would recommend, it would be magnesium for sure. If I had to pick one, and the cool thing about magnesium is they package it in multiple different forms. So if you needed to address, and this is what I like about supplements, right? You could treat a certain condition with a certain supplement at a given time. It's
Right.
not something that you always have to take, 35 pills every day for the rest of your life. You can use things strategically. And this is where nuance comes into play when it comes to health and wellness. But with magnesium, especially, there's like 5 different kinds of magnesium, possibly more. They attach the magnesium molecule to different secondary molecules, and it can treat different conditions. So if you need something for sleep, if you need something specifically for nerve health, if you need something for stress and anxiety, if you need something for your gastrointestinal system, so like gut health, there's different forms of magnesium for all of those. So it does so much good stuff. It's so important in what it does in the body that if I had to pick one specific thing for you to supplement that you would probably want to stay on forever or the long term, it would be magnesium.
And is there any specific diet fads that there's benefits and pros and cons, I suppose, to every single one, but in terms of weight loss specifically,
yes.
Like we were talking about keto earlier.
Right. So I know we were having conversations about sugar earlier. The ketogenic diet, there's advantages to that. But if we come back to what we talked about in the beginning, where, that weight loss study we talked about, that 1997 study, and this study has been reproduced 1,000 times, that you can eat a different variety of macronutrients, whether that's sugar, carbs, proteins, fats. Weight loss comes from eating less calories, consuming less calories than you expend during the day.
Right.
Whether that's through your body keeping itself alive or through exercise, you're going to burn a certain amount of calories. If you consume less than that over time, that's how you lose weight. Now, ketogenic diet specifically.
Talking about the negatives and positives, of course.
Positives, it helps tremendously in satiety. Keeps you full, right? You're eating protein that fills you up, right? It keeps you from getting hungry and wanting to snack and do those things. So it's a good way to get to the end goal of weight loss, which is just calorie
consuming
restriction,
less,
consuming less calories.
Yeah.
So it's a means to an end, right? So are there magical things about a ketogenic diet? Now, we did talk about specific populations where the ketogenic diet might come in handy, right? So people with seizures, neurological disorders, the ketogenic diet has proven to be really effective for that. So that's a tool. It's a mechanism where you might want to break that out and use it in a specific situation for a specific population. It can be really helpful. When it comes to weight loss, is it vastly superior to other diets that are restricting calories? Not so much. So, and that's the interesting thing about nutrition, and it's the frustrating thing about nutrition, is it becomes very dogmatic, and it becomes very tribal.
This whole subject,
it's like
nutrition, exercise. It is extremely the opinions
and
are.
it's like, hey, I went on keto and I lost 20 pounds, so it's the only diet that works, and I'm gonna preach it to everyone, and that's great. I want you to take that diet and lose 20 pounds, and maybe it will work for the next person, but maybe it won't as well too. So it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Talk about
when it comes to losing weight.
Yeah, and talk about the lack of carbohydrates though.
Oh yeah, so drawbacks, of long-term carbohydrate restriction. We talked about cortisol, right? That stress hormone. Well, there's been multiple studies, preliminary to some degree, but pretty convincing, that I've seen that long-term carbohydrate restriction actually leads to elevated cortisol. Okay, that stress hormone. So restricting carbohydrates, I mean, for goodness sakes, your body has a process in the system, in the liver. Okay, it has its own process to produce glucose or carbohydrates when your blood sugar is too low. It's that important,
right? I feel like carbohydrates get a bad rap.
They get a bad rap.
Definitely, it's unbelievable.
They're huge, especially if you're looking for performance, right?
Well,
if
they're the main macronutrient.
It's a main macronutrient. It's so your brain, its preferred source of fuel is carbohydrates.
Mhm.
It's sugar. Okay. It's so important that your body will break down muscle and it will break down other macronutrients in order to make new carbohydrates in the liver, a process called gluconeogenesis. Okay.
Mhm.
If it's that important, restricting carbs may long term have some negative drawbacks.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're on the keto diet, so long term keto, probably not.
If I had to say, should you do it long term? No, I would say no. I would say if you're using it for a specific weight loss goal and you could gradually reintroduce carbohydrates and maintain, your weight by consuming less calories, and that's easier said than done,
Yeah.
right? You eat sugary foods, it does have a little bit of a reward system in your brain kicks in a little bit when you're eating carbohydrates. And people go back to that when they say, well, low carb is better because, if you eat sugary foods, it's a dopamine reward system in your brain. Yes, but if you look at those sugary foods, they're also equally high in macronutrients like fat, right?
Mhm.
Every gram of fat is 9 calories, right? Every gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories. So if that sugary snack is also pretty densely packed, with fat,
Yeah.
you're going to rack up the calories pretty quickly.
Yeah. What's the number? Is it 33,500?
3,600.
3,600 is
Mhm.
is a pound of fat. So
Yeah, 3,600 kilocalories is
Yeah.
what it would take to burn a pound of fat. So
Yeah.
it's a long-term process. So if you use keto to get there, I think that's fantastic if it works for you because it's not easy to lose weight by any means. So if you can use something like the ketogenic diet to get there, it's beneficial. It's great. I
Mhm.
love that. If you want to perform at a higher level, you're probably going to need some carbohydrates. If you want to add muscle, it's going to be easier if you're adding a little bit of carbohydrates. And there's plenty of healthy sources, potatoes, rice, things like that are packed full of nutrients that,
Yeah.
if you consume those in moderation, are going to be beneficial for you when it comes to working out and generally feeling better as well too.
Mhm. So yeah, that's a lot on the keto diet. There are so many diets that we could talk about.
Yeah,
but
carnivore is the
carnivore,
same way too.
mhm.
It's diets where carnivore is super interesting. There's been not a ton of research on carnivore yet because it's new, but it's people eating just meat, right? And particularly maybe more fatty cuts of meat as well too. The real hardcore carnivore people, which it's fine. It's another tool for calorie restriction when it comes to weight loss, but people with autoimmune disorders that have been incurable by certain, pharmacological interventions, people are curing them with the carnivore diet. So it's one of those things where, again, nuance is really important when it comes to nutrition.
The
and
drawback
supplements.
of that for me, I don't know if I could possibly. If I can't really think of a way to make me not like steak, but if
I know,
if that's all I'm eating is like, all right, to make
if that's all you're eating, man, I gotta have some carbs. I just
give me
have
some
to.
carbs.
I need
Yeah.
some carbs, and you're gonna miss out on nutrients.
Yep.
Red meat, sure, it's got tons of good stuff in it, B vitamins, protein, all that good stuff, but you're gonna miss out on a lot of things for sure if you're just going strictly carnivore. So
Yeah.
So what
it's a tool
So
to use.
yeah, so for those kind of diets, you're only eating meat like carnivore or you on the keto, it's just like when you're only eating one thing, what I've always heard is like, for a diet, it's like it's supposed to be a balanced diet. Like you need a little bit of everything. And
Yes.
with those diets, it's like a lot of one thing.
Right.
And while that one thing is good, you're missing out on other things. Is that kind of like the opinion that's
100%.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the diet. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So eating a balanced diet, I think, is very smart. You're going to get a little bit more well-rounded with your nutrients and things
Yeah.
like that. But again, if keto and carnivore work for you, that's good. They're a tool to me. That's how I'd use them as a tool. Maybe not a long-term approach that I would use forever.
Well, definitely the next thing that I want to talk about, my main interest is the caffeine diet. All
I-
right.
I love caffeine.
Caffeine. So
I love caffeine.
I do want to talk about the effects of caffeine and energy drinks. And are they dangerous? And just we're gonna go through that now because who
Caffeine's
doesn't?
a hot topic.
Who
man.
doesn't
and it's
drink
like,
it? Yeah.
You hear stories that are unfortunate.
Yeah.
People, especially with energy drinks, I think they get a bad rap. People unfortunately have passed away. But if you look at those
Mhm.
instances, if you really dive into it, most of the time those people were probably consuming huge amounts of caffeine through the source of those energy drinks. I don't think they were having one Monster energy drink and then having negative things happen to them. And a lot of people where that does happen have underlying heart conditions as well too, arrhythmias and things of that
Yeah.
nature. So, if you have something like that, yeah, maybe one to avoid it. But what's your opinion on caffeine, Rob?
Well, it works for me.
It works for me, right?
That's my
Yeah.
opinion is it's fantastic. I mean, okay, so like you can tell most of the time when you are drinking too much caffeine, you're going to get jittery, you're going to start to feel it.
for
You
sure.
know, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just reading your body, and I tell people
That's a
that in
big part of it.
resistance training all the time. It's like, listen, like I've been I've been accused. I remember we had a person on here, Dexter, who was one of my clients, and he's like, Rob's all about high. It's high
Yeah,
success.
what was the
Gosh,
quote?
the quote. Oh my goodness, give me a second. It's
Low impact, high
Low,
success.
thank you. Low impact, high success. No, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell people, like, read your body. You
I
know,
love that
not just
quote.
with caffeine, but read your body with resistance exercise. If I tell you to do 100 reps of anything, and you're like at 80, and it's like,
yeah,
something's going wrong, stop.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Just because I told you to do 100 doesn't mean you got to do 100.
Right.
But it's always because I can't feel what you feel, so I just typically that doesn't happen,
and,
right?
and
But-
people will metabolize caffeine differently. So there are certain genes that determine how you metabolize caffeine. So some people are slow metabolizers of caffeine and some people are fast. If you're a fast metabolizer of caffeine, you're more likely to get the negative central nervous system type symptoms, the jitteriness, racing heart rate, that type of thing. If you're a fast metabolizer of
Yeah.
caffeine, those folks definitely need to be careful. If you want a little cheat code, there's a little thing called L-theanine. So this is an amino acid.
Spell it.
L-theanine, Theanine. I could spell all day long.
Yeah. I tried to trick you. Didn't work.
L-theanine, taking that alongside your caffeine can reduce some of those negative symptoms that you get, have a more calming effect on the central nervous system, but get all the benefits of caffeine because there are quite a few benefits. of
Yeah,
caffeine,
there's
aren't there?
certainly a few. Now,
Yeah.
since you asked me my opinion on caffeine, there is I don't like to take it first thing in the morning, right? You should. I just try to give myself some water first.
Yeah,
I
and
try to
think
wait an
that's a
hour as best I
smart
can.
approach,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Do you feel like that's kind of the biggest drawback of caffeine, the coffee? Like when people like wake up, first thing they do is drink coffee.
I think so. There's
Yeah.
you get the health influencers like the Andrew Huberman types. He's a real popular guy. Got a good podcast. He's a neuroscientist from Stanford. He talks quite a bit about delaying caffeine intake for 60 to 90 minutes in the morning. Simply to help set your circadian rhythm. Okay. So
Yeah.
circadian rhythm is like your body's natural internal clock. It
That's
controls
genetic,
your
too.
sleep and wakes up. It's genetic, but it's influenced heavily by our environmental factors,
Mhm.
like how much blue light we get. Are we staring at our phones at night before we go to bed? That type of stuff will interrupt your circadian rhythm.
you got to get those cool glasses.
Yep, got to get those neat orange blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah.
Or just put the color filter on your phone. That's a simple, easy hack that if you're looking at your phone at night, you can go into your settings on iPhone. It's in accessibility. So if you go to accessibility in your iPhone settings, and I think it's under display and brightness under the accessibility
Yeah, that's news
folder
to
on your
me.
iPhone. You can actually turn on color filters. So you can block the blue and green light, which you don't want at night right before you go to bed, because that's going to disrupt your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Circadian rhythm, if it's disrupted, a whole lot of other things are going to happen negatively with your health. Okay. Weight loss becomes harder. Sleep becomes more difficult. Recovery, brain fog, gut health, everything's going to be impacted. Thyroid metabolism, everything's going to be impacted if your circadian rhythm is off. So sleep, very important.
Yeah, I feel like my circadian rhythm is just
Yeah.
used to me looking at my phone at 11 o'clock every night. So.
Yeah, it don't
So-
work that way, brother. Sorry,
Yeah.
but no, caffeine late in the day. I do not recommend it. Caffeine it's
How late? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
Yeah, past 2 p.m. That's a no for me. That's a big cutoff zone. I would not recommend having caffeine in the afternoon. If you're going to consume it in the morning for sure. Caffeine is it's an ergogenic aid, and what that means is it can help cognition, it can help performance if you're an athlete. So if you're using it responsibly, and again, this is where nuance comes into
Yeah.
play. If you're using things responsibly, you can use it to your benefit. if you're abusing it, it's probably going to come back and bite you a little bit and have some negative implications downstream. So you just want to be careful about those things.
Yeah, and then especially for the people who work out at night who like to take those stimulant pre-workouts, those things.
Yeah.
That's gonna mess up the sleep cycle.
Yep. Used to do those quite a bit back in the day in college, the pre-workouts.
I used to work
They were
out at
all the
like
rage. Yeah.
1 a.m. when I was
because
I Snap Fitness.
I was a nutrition, exercise, and health science major at UNL, but a notorious self-experimenter when it comes to supplements and things. I remember taking Jacked 3D pre-workout
I got
supplement.
a story about that.
Yeah, taking that at like 7 p.m. and then going
Okay.
to the campus rec and working out. And,
Well, let's remember
I could
Jacked 3D.
study for like 8 hours after that. Until
Yeah.
all hours of the night.
Well, you can't get that anymore.
No,
and
it's banned.
All right, I don't think I've ever told you this. So Jacked 3D. So when I went to Orlando in 2010, right? This is my schooling that I went through. There was this guy, he could have crawled out of the TV from like that show Jersey Shore. He's actually from there,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And he was as Guido as he gets. He would actually he had this Jacked 3D. He's like, Rob, you ever try this stuff? I'm like, no, never once. He's like, all right, here, let me hook it up. And he gave me I gave him this half-filled water bottle. Behind my back, he puts 5.5 scoops of Jacked 3D.
No.
5.5.
No.
Okay. I'm 20 years old.
Oh,
all right.
no.
And so me being silly, I trusted it, and I just drank this
Ugh.
Jacked 3D. You know the feeling when your mouth just get sleepy and the pins and needles? That was my entire head.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I couldn't sit down because the beta alanine and everything else that was coming out just give me the tingles. Like luckily I was in a place where I wasn't like, I never freaked out about anything. It was like, all right, let's go. Let's live for 2 hours. And it was, it still felt it, but that could have killed me.
Yeah, I mean, that's dangerous stuff.
That was really dangerous.
But those were so popular. They still are today. And I think,
we're gonna break
yeah,
here
it's time
soon,
to
but
break. All right,
yeah.
we'll pick that back up.
But we got to talk that later. Yeah.
Yeah. One more segment left on the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Coleman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Coleman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Coleman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, April 20th versus the San Diego Mojo at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Spring is here, and it's time to wake up Judson. Judson Irrigation is eager and ready to get your sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green.
Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at the Spring Mega Sale. We're taking our better than internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, April 15th through Saturday, April 20th, the Spring Mega Sale is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
The Double the Savings sales event is happening now through April 22nd at Bonsall Pool and Spa. During this event, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings and receive 0% APR for 60 months. Visit the Bonsall Pool and Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at bonsallpool.com to learn more about their hot tub sale. Act fast because this offer ends soon. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better.
Hi, I'm Senator Beau Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Beau Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One last segment here on the Movement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. The Rob and Rob Show. I'm saying that before at the beginning of every segment.
Love it. The Movement Hour Rob and Rob Show.
It's the special Rob and Rob episode.
Yes. The Rob and Rob episode.
Special. I like that.
But yeah, got about 7 more minutes until we get youth football in here. So
Well,
what do you guys want to finish on?
I think you had a thought on Jack 3D that you were
Yeah, you know,
finish.
Jack 3D was super fun. Do not recommend it anymore. Now that I know better,
Even if you can, I don't think it's
it's
a
not
thing.
not a thing anymore. But there are some pre-workout supplements I've seen out there that are, you know, a little bit more on the clean side, which I think is good. So there's plenty of stuff like that if you need a little extra boost, because again, caffeine is technically, you know, an ergogenic. It will help with your performance and you know, cognition, how your brain works, that type of thing. So yeah, so look into those for sure. You know, any other supplement stuff, I post a lot of stuff on my Instagram. So at drlanedc is my Instagram. Post lots of stuff up there on supplements, and going to continue to do that. I've had a lot of people say, hey, get out and share the stuff that you're talking about, you know, in the clinic and things like that. So yeah, if you want to check it out there, I definitely have more stuff beyond what we talked about today as far as supplement recommendations go.
Well, completely off topic, but still technically sports, since we were just talking about this on the break, since I think we went through supplements enough today, is esports.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, yeah, you grow up playing video games and now it's literally taught, you know, as a class in college.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's a club and a team like
At UNL. Yeah.
at UNL. I know Mon Green, right?
Yeah.
Is
Mon Green's the coach.
yeah, one of my all-time favorite Husker players.
I thought I heard him talking on the radio about it just recently.
Yeah, he's on the drive from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
In the morning. He had his own show, Mon Green Show.
I wish I had
It
an
was at night.
unpopular opinion about esports the way I did about real sports.
Yeah.
So, the
It's-
soccer baseball debate. I mean, is
the biggest thing about esports is that the big I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's just there's no money in it right now.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if you're a video game player and you're a big video game player,
Right.
you usually start in esports.
Yeah.
When you become popular, you become a streamer and you make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
You make
So
a
the
lot more
streaming-
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
you make a lot more money streaming,
So my
and it's a
kids
lot
talk
less
about-
work
Mhm.
than esports, where you put in probably twice the amount of hours and you
Sure.
get maybe half the pay.
Yeah.
It's just like that. That's the thing where like
Fascinating.
all the top people then go to streaming
So
because
the money's in the views, right?
Mhm.
It's amazing to
watch-
me.
and
play
more
video
people would
games.
rather watch a streamer than
Then
just like
esports
esports.
competition.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kinda-
amazing to me that people can make money just by playing video games and people wanting to watch.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah.
I mean, like
different times.
one of the biggest streamers, Jinxie, gets literally on average like 80,000 people watching him every day.
Yeah, see, I've never heard of
every
that.
day?
Every day
Wow.
that he streams, yeah, like 80,000 people.
Interesting.
What's he play, like Super Smash Brothers?
No, Rainbow Six Siege is his main game.
Interesting.
There you
Mhm.
go. That's the opinion right there.
But yeah,
Smash Brothers.
I mean,
versus Mario
I'm not
Kart.
to toot my own horn, but I used to be good at video games back in the day. And now if I play them against my kids, I get slaughtered. Like I am, yeah, it's tough, man. Like, I
Man,
imagine these kids are good.
The prime age of playing video games literally is like teenagers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
once
for sure.
like
Well, what else they got to do?
yeah, I'm scared. Like if I turn like 25, I'm just gonna suck. I'm scared of that.
I played Fortnite with my kids, and they did the build mode or whatever.
yeah,
and
build.
so you're going after them, kind of like trying to get some people, and then all of a sudden they just build up this structure in front of you, and I'm like, what was that?
How'd you
Like,
do that so
how'd you do that? And they're like,
Oh.
oh, you just press this button, this button, this button,
No.
and you can build your own. And I'm like, I'm looking at my controller like, I don't think I have that button.
That is not the best game to try to start off on.
Yeah,
Build.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I couldn't even imagine. I'm imagining if I'd have my parents try to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I'm all about the stories. I like to play my movies. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's esports worthy right there.
I'm a
So-
Mario Kart guy.
So are you kind of a not as much of a online gamer? Just like
No.
it'd be more like story games.
Yes,
Mm,
if I go online, I get beat up. It's
See, yeah,
bad.
I mean,
Like,
there's a lot of games out there. Like
yeah, I'll play to wind down. Like some people watch TV shows. I'm probably
Mm.
gonna like. I don't know, I'll play like God of War, like something where there's just like a story,
I mean, yeah, that's great.
It's
yeah.
literally a movie, but you're playing it,
Right.
So it's
No.
it's something. But I don't think I'd be a very entertaining streamer.
You have to be funny, man. You have to be funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you have to engage
yeah.
the audience.
You can't just. I mean, you can't just play and then
Mhm.
not do that because. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I
It's-
mean,
it's
I'm
crazy.
just gonna, if I'm playing on that Switch back there, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna,
yeah.
I'll pull up the Smash Bros versus the Mario Kart.
Oh, Mario Kart's so
Bro,
fun.
that is the bet. I literally, my family only has a Wii because we want to still, if we ever want to, just play Mario Kart on the Wii.
Yes.
That was the best ever.
I like the Wii. The Wii's active, right?
I love. Yeah,
I played the Wii with the kids. They got tennis and golf and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff on there. And that's super fun.
I love the Wii. I hate that it got out like it's not popular anymore.
So, do they make it anymore? Can you still
I
buy
don't-
them?
You can still buy them, but they're all used.
Okay,
and stuff.
gotcha.
But
There might be a new one out there somewhere.
There probably is, but they don't like companies don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there. I mean, maybe there's like a retro company that like.
Yeah, reproduces
Re-
them.
yeah, but
Right.
Mm.
We'll hit all the topics today, guys. So, little supplements, little video game,
Yeah.
sports.
Hey, we got to everything
Yeah.
Covered it all. I like it.
on the Robin Rob show.
Yeah. The Movement Hour Robin Rob show.
Love it.
Well, thank you for listening into the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back here, same time, 10 to 11, every
Next
Saturday, the Movement Hour. We're going to only have one Rob next week, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's correct.
You're going to miss the other Rob.
I'll be
but
back.
You'll
Don't
be
you
back.
worry.
We're going to definitely have to bring back the Robin Rob show
100%.
eventually. But with that, thank you for listening in to the Movement Hour. We'll be right back with the youth football right at 11. Thanks.
Spring is here,